All right, Gene, Don Drysdale now warming up with Jerry Grody. And we'll give you again briefly the lineup for the American League for this All-Star game. Leading off is Fregosi at shortstop, Rod Carew at second base, Gary Yastrzemski in center field, Frank Howard in right field and batting cleanup, Willie Horton in left, Armin Killebrew at first base, Bill Freehand the catcher, Brooks Robinson is at third base, and Luis Tiant the pitcher. Now defensively, Grody is behind the plate as we said, and Don Drysdale is warming up with him. Willie McCovey's at first base, Tommy Helms at second, Don Kessinger at short, Ron Santo at third. In left field is Kurt Flood. In center field, Woody Mays, and in right field, Hank Aaron. Cal Irmer, the Minnesota Twins, is coaching at third base, and Mayo Smith. And I'm sure that Mayo is a pretty happy fellow here in Houston, Texas tonight, as his Detroit Tigers lead Cleveland by 9.5 games, is at first base. Now Jim Fregosi in his fourth All-Star game. From the California Angels, hitting at .273 on the season, and has hit safely in 16 of his last 18 ball games. Jim is hot. Drysdale's first pitch swung on and missed. Strike one.
Jim, you know, Gene and Jim, many ballparks you go into, they talk about being a hitter's or a pitcher's ballpark, but the Astrodome seems to have a lot of variance, Gene. Some say it's a hitter's park, some say it's a pitcher's park.
Drysdale's ready. Again, Tony, a pitch that I would not describe as a fastball. You said that Don has gone to a little bit more cuteness, and he certainly has not tried to blow down Fregosi. It's 1-1.
Looks like he took something off a breaking pitch. He'll throw a lot of sidearm deliveries trying to move these right-handed hitters especially away from the box with that fastball and then hit that outside corner with that slider.
3/4 and popped up. Grody comes off the plate near the National League dugout, and, well, he does a pratfall across the bench there and does not get to the ball. It is 1-2 to the leadoff batter, Fregosi, with Carew to follow.
Gene, what about the Astrodome? A hitter's park or a pitcher's park?
I would have to say pitchers, basically, Tony. Not too many home runs are hit here. The ball, a lot of balls that are hit look like they're going, then they seem to die. There have been a lot of gigantic home runs hit here, however. A fellow like Frank Howard might just hit a tape measure tonight, as possible.
1-2 the count for Fregosi. Drysdale working. Ball is popped up again, but this will get back in the stands. The count remains the same at 1-2. In the top of the first inning of the 39th All-Star game, there is no score. Fregosi, the leadoff batter, still at the plate. In right field, Aaron is playing rather shallow. And it is the rule of thumb here, I am told, Gene, that most outfielders will play this outfield deeper than normal. And Mays is deep in center, and Flood is deep in left. Outside of Fregosi, Jim does have some power. He has hit 8 home runs this year. It's 2-2.
Jim can hit the ball hard to right center field. Of course, Henry Aaron out there, pretty good outfielder, goes back on the ball very well.
2-2 pitch from Don Drysdale, and a line drive. Over comes Flood into the corner, looking up. It bounces off the wall, then goes between his legs, and Fregosi steams into second with a leadoff and stand-up double.
Fregosi hit a breaking pitch, Jim, one that Drysdale meant to get outside, but got a little bit in and over the plate to Jim.
And I think the fans can hear, Tony and Gene, that around the Houston Astrodome, it is not all National League, as the fans came alive with Fergosi's drive off the left field wall. Here is Rod Carew, hitting at .286. 1 home run. He does not hit for power. 14 RBIs. And, of course, Carew was Rookie of the Year a year ago and has been in the All-Star game in his 2 years in the league. This one included. Before that, he was in All-Star games in the minor league. Time, stepping out as Shag Crawford. And putting his hand to his head, Tony.
Jim, I don't know what exactly happened.
He tapped his mask, and I'm trying to figure out whether... Well, I just don't know. I just think he jumped out and tapped his mask.
Signifying that it was his timeout, I think, is what he was doing.
There's one of the first pitches we've seen thrown by Drysdale with speed. It's low and away to Carew, ball 1.
Carew, incidentally, Jim, has a great deal of speed. Gets out of the batter's box very well. Will Barton drag and can beat out those infield choppers.
Fregosi at second, none out. First inning. Rod Carew, 1-0 pitch, and this is low also. And in the dirt, it's 2-0. Fregosi, as we said, down at second, no score. He was the leadoff batter. McCovey, Helms, Kessinger, and Santo The National League infield, Flood, Mays, and Aaron in the outfield. Brody, the catcher. Drysdale working on a 2-0 count. High chopper. McCovey comes in, steps on first base as Fregosi goes to third. And Carew has succeeded in moving up the runner.
First half of the play, Jim, when the big league player's up there, his manager expects him to do it. And, of course, Dick Williams and Red Schoendienst were those type of players. They could move the ball with the bat, advance base runners, to handle that bat and get you out of position all the time.
No score with Fregosi at third, and here's Carl Yastrzemski hitting at .301 on the year, 13 home runs, 33 RBIs. Carl had gone a long while without hitting a home run. And then on Sunday, the doubleheader hit a home run in each end of the doubleheader. Most valuable player in the league last year, Triple Crown winner, sharing the home run title with Harmon Killebrew. Now with a man at third, and he swings on the first pitch, a changeup on the inside corner, and it's strike one, and Carl was going for it.
He was a little bit anxious, Jim. I think the pitch he swung it off down Drysdale was a little bit high and inside. Could have been off the plate a little bit.
Yastrzemski has had a good All-Star record, 3 for 6. This is his third game, so he's batting at .500 in All-Star play coming up tonight. Drysdale's back with the pitch. This time he steams it past Yastrzemski, who swings and misses for strike 2. One out. No score. Fregosi at third base. Yastrzemski the batter. Yastrzemski, I'm sure all of you remember his final month of last year when he had .417 to help the Red Sox to that pennant. Inside, backing Carl away, it is now 1-2. And then Yastrzemski went on in the World Series, which was won by the Cardinals in 7 games, and hit .400 there, too. And as so many people have told us, including Coach Bobby Doerr of the Boston Red Sox, he has never seen a man, and you've heard this statement before, have the kind of year that Carl Yastrzemski had in 1967. In the field, at bat, inspirationally, and accomplishments. This one is fouled off to the left. The count is still 1-2 to Yastrzemski, and Fregosi still down on third with 1 out here in the top of the first.
Jim, if I may for a moment, you're speaking about the crowd reaction for the American Leaguers. Keep in mind that Houston is a comparatively new major league city. This is only the 7th year the Astros have been in existence, and they have not had the opportunity, like New York, Washington, Los Angeles, when the Angels expanded, to see the American League in action. And they are thrilled to death to be able to see players like Carl Yastrzemski.
Good point, Gene. And big Frank Howard, whom they oohed and awed over in the pregame batting practice, is on deck. Yastrzemski now with 1-2, standing in and waiting for Don Drysdale's three-quarter delivery, which stays low and a little off the plate. Drysdale didn't think it was that low. It's 2-2 to Yastrzemski.
And Jim, this National League defense is playing Kyle to pull. Aaron is down that right field line. Mays toward right center field. Flood is giving him the line pretty much in left field. But most ball clubs in the American League, and of course this is in Fenway Park where they have the short left field fence, play Kyle straight away and sometimes to left field.
Yastrzemski now waiting for the 2-2 count from Don Drysdale. Now he steps out. As Drysdale took a little long. The American League, of course, stung by the reports repeated so many times in the papers that no other league has won 5 in a row as the National League has. They're the favorites tonight. The American Leaguers are trying to get in. Foul, and he just does stay alive. It's 2-2. Gene, the dimensions of this ballpark are not gigantic, if you'll run them down for us.
Oh, we have 340 down the lines, 406 to center, and 390 to right and left center fields. There's a yellow stripe and an orange stripe just below the seats. This is a very controversial line that has caused some concern among umpires. However, the fall umpires tonight on the foul lines, I don't think we'll have too much trouble. Anything hitting the foul, hitting the yellow or orange stripes or above, home run.
High in the air into short left, as a matter of fact, backing up is Santo into foul territory down the left field line and has it for the second out. And Fregosi must hold at third base.
Drysdale with that fastball, and he pitched Carl Yastrzemski pretty much the same. He showed a pattern of pitching him high and inside, and he got Carl to go for an high and inside fastball.
Listen to this ooh and ah. It is strictly for the size of Frank Howard now stepping up. When Howard steps up there, all 6 feet 7 inches of him. He is listed. The scoreboard says, come on, Shorty, hit one. He is listed at 260, but knowing Frank as I do, I'll put it closer to 280. Drysdale is ready. They used to be teammates. Line drive, right to Kessler, and the inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left. Remember the first inning, the score is the American League nothing, with the National League coming to bat.
The Astrodome in Houston, Tony Kubek along with Jim Simpson and Gene Elston. No score in the ball game going in the last half of the first inning, and the National League coming to bat.
And Tony Luis Tian, of course, is the pitcher for the Cleveland Indians, and we'll repeat again that he worked 6 in the 3rd innings on Sunday. He's going to try to go at least 2 innings. And Tony, I'll bring you right back in. We have seen Tian pitch many times. Like Marichal, he can pitch from all different positions, and he also gives him a little head fake as Willie Mays steps in.
Yes, he does. I think he throws a little bit harder than Juan Marichal, but does not have that pinpoint control that Marichal has. He throws very hard, and this year has gotten a little bit better control than he had in his past years with the Cleveland Indians.
Willie Mays in his 19th All-Star Game. Tian, who has won his last 5 in a row, is in his first All-Star Game from the Cleveland Indians. And is ready with his first pitch, and Mays backs out, but it's strike is that head fake of Tian, and Willie looking the other way.
Jim, I never had a chance to see Satchel Paige in action, but they talked about hesitation pitch. That was it right there.
Here's another one, and this one is grounded. Robinson comes over and goes under his glove, and Mays has a base hit. And there's that Astrodome, Tony and Gene.
Brooks looked like he was going to catch up to the ball, Gene, and the ball just picked up speed, got that overspin, shot right on by him.
No score in the last of the first inning, and Kurt Flood hitting .316, playing in his 3rd All-Star Game from the St. Louis Cardinals and playing left field tonight, steps in. Right-handed batter to face Luis Tian, who immediately finds himself with a man on base.
And watch Willie. He does not run much because of his age, but in the All-Star Game, Willie's liable to try anything.
Tian looking over at Mays, and now checks over there. Tian, you'll recall, on July the 3rd, struck out 19 batters in 10 innings. Won a ball game over Minnesota, 1-0. So he does have the strikeout pitch. Extremely fast, and now he whoops, the ball gets away from Killebrew, and Mays beats him to second base. The ball hit in the glove of Killebrew, and was such a good move that maybe Harmon will draw the error, Tony, instead of Tian.
It looked like a good throw, Jim. Killebrew tried to put the fast tag on Willie coming back in, so they've given Killebrew an error on it. The ball hit Willie, but got a little bit down that foul line, and Willie took off with those quick reflexes of it.
And now as Don Drysdale was in the top of the first with Bergosi at second and none out, so is Luis Tian in the bottom of the first with Mays at second and none out, and Flood the batter, and he still hasn't thrown a pitch to Flood. Here's the first, and it is ball 1. The National League umpires who work ball games get on the inside shoulder of the catcher, lean down, whereas the American League stand right in back of the catcher, and Shaq Crawford is now leaning over the inside shoulder of Bill Freehand, as it's 1-0 to Kurt Flood. Tian looking back at second. Now in at Flood, and throws outside and low. It is 2-0. Killebrew's at first base, Carew at second, Bergosi at short, Robinson at third. Horton at left, Yastrzemski in center, Frank Howard in right, Bill Freehand the catcher, and Tian the pitcher, and in a little bit of trouble in the scoreless ball game.
But, of course, trying to hit the ball to the opposite field and advance Willie to third in this particular situation.
Tian now ready with a 2-0 pitch. Sidearm, and Flood swings on it and misses. 2-1. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error thus far for the American League. No runs, 1 hit, no errors for the National League. Willie Mays' hit was his 23rd in All-Star competition. That broke a record, his own. Can you imagine this is his 19th? Stan Musial, you'll recall, went 24 before Stan retired to become an executive of the St. Louis Cardinals. Tian now taking time. It's 2-1. Mays with about a 15-foot lead off second base. Tian ready, throws, an overhand pitch this time, Tony, and it's 3-1. Now, this is the danger that manager Dick Williams knew that he must face. Tiant worked a lot. On Sunday, he is tired, but he also might be excused, Tony, if he's a little bit nervous. This is his first All-Star appearance, and he's starting the game, and he said, for the benefit of reporters, this will make me a big man in my country and around the world. He's excited about it. Here he is, but here he is in trouble. Luis ready now for the 3-1. First base is open, Mays is at second. 3-1 pitch is fouled off to the right, and it's 3-2.
Jim, it's always great to see that good hitter that can handle the bat like Curt Flood, battling that pitcher out there. Tiant, of course, trying to keep the ball inside, trying to get him to pull the ball on the ground so he can hold Mays at second base. And, of course, Curt Flood battling all the time, trying to hit to the opposite field.
Flood never stepped out of the box. He's there. Tiant is now ready with a new baseball. Mays again taking that lead off second base. This time he's edged up a step or two toward third base. And despite his age, now he's bluffed back by the shortstop Fregosi, but only goes back half a step. And here's a pitch that goes over the head of Freehand. And Mays goes to third base, but of course it is ball 4 to Flood, who goes to first.
And, Jim, there was no doubt on that particular pitch that Bill Freehand, the catcher, was crossed up by Tiant. He was leaning outside looking for the breaking pitch. Tiant came with the overhand fastball right over the head of Bill Freehand.
And that brings up Willie McCovey, having one of his greatest years, hitting .293, 20 home runs, 53 RBIs from the San Francisco Giants. Mays led off the bottom of this first inning with a single on a 1-0 pitch. Went down to second base when Harmon Killebrew was napping at first, and Tiant's throw to first just bounced off his glove. Mays goes to third on the wild pitch, ball 4 to Flood, who's now perched at first. So the National League, winner of 16 of the last 21, immediately in business. Scoreless game, still none out. Bottom of the first. From the Astrodome, air-conditioned to a lovely 72 degrees in Houston, Texas. Tiant now ready to face the big left-hander, Willie McCovey. First pitch, ground ball to Carew, goes to second, and back to third, double play, but the run scores, and the National League goes out in front, 1-0. Carew to Fregosi to Killebrew, the double play. And, of course, Willie McCovey, who has 53 RBIs, does not get an RBI on that play, but it goes up on the scoreboard, 1-0 the National League, and brings up Hank Aaron, playing in his 17th All-Star game, and batting cleanup. Aaron with 499 lifetime home runs, 8th among all-time major leaguers. Tiant gives him that look back toward center field, fires high, it's ball 1 to Aaron.
And, Gene, you've seen Henry Aaron a great deal, and I would say, from what we've seen of him, Jim, I think he's probably the most underrated player in the National League.
Back again with the ball inside and low, and it is 2-0. Hank Aaron has a .316 lifetime average. That's the highest in the major leagues, Tony, when you talk about being underrated. He's been over 311 times in the last 14 years. That's all. Now, there's a pitch that's outside, and was that his hesitation pitch?
He's liable to do anything out there. He's liable to do anything out there, Jimmy. Hesitated a moment, threw that head out to center field, and changed up and tried to hit the outside corner on Henry.
2 out, 1 run in, nobody on. 3-0, and Aaron pulls one, but foul and deep to left.
Jim, I think you'll agree. We've seen Tiant, as you've mentioned before, several times during the course of this year. He is not throwing quite as hard as we've seen him. In fact, not even close. He's throwing mostly breaking pitches. He is primarily a fastball pitcher.
Well, I think you can count the fastballs, Tony. He's thrown on one hand. You don't even need it. Here's the 3-1 pitch to Aaron. High, and it is ball 4, and Tiant walks his second man. And that brings up Ron Santo, the Chicago Cubs, tonight playing third base, hitting at .247. But Santo, I'm sure most know, has great power, 13 home runs so far this year, 47 RBIs. And Santo, in his 4th All-Star game, is quite an All-Star performer, hitting .429. And Gene Nelson, with the power that Santo has he been able to generate it here in the games you've done?
He's hit a few home runs here, Jim, not too many. He does a great job around that third base. He's the best I've ever seen over there.
Check, and this time the throw is low at first base, but Killebrew digs it out because Aaron does not run much, but he's led the Braves in steals 7 years in a row. He is a great percentage base stealer. When he goes, he he pretty generally gets there. And so Tiant checks once more with Killebrew at first. And Santo backs out for the moment. Mays lit off with a single. Flood walked, and on a double play, Mays, who had moved around on an error and a wild pitch, scored the only run of the ball game. And now Aaron's at first with Santo at bat here in the first inning. Strike.
And Jim, right there, it looked like Henry Aaron had an inkling to go, but Tiant just held the ball a shade longer than he has been, so Aaron went back.
Herman Franks is the coach at first base, manager of the Giants, and Dave Bristol of Cincinnati over at third. Crowd is quiet, 1-0 the score. Huge crowd in the Astrodome. There goes Aaron. The ball is swung on, and down at shortstop is Fregosi, who'll go to first for the third out. 1 run on 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 man left. At the end of 1, the National League won, and the American League nothing. From the Astrodome in Houston, Texas, Jim Simpson, Tony Kubek, Gene Elston. Willie Horton leads off the top of the second inning for the American League on an unearned run. The National League leads 1-0. Drysdale working and throws 3/4. Horton sends one deep to right, but Aaron doesn't have to move too far back and over to his left to take it for the first out as Willie swung on the first pitch. That will bring up Harmon Killebrew. And Harmon, who has set a record by playing at 3 different positions in the All Star games. He's played third base, first base, and in the outfield. As we told you at the outset, he is a little ashamed, as he put it, to be here because Harmon's statistics, 204 his batting average. He too swings on the first pitch. McCovey goes back from first, Helms from second. Helms waves off McCovey and has it. 2 pitches by Drysdale and 2 outs.
Jim, in sports, the word momentum is often used, and of course, looking at the American League, you mentioned Killebrew not getting off to a good start. Yastrzemski has seen his average go down in the last month, as has Frank Howard. So I think the National League, if you talk about personal momentum, has it going for them.
Here is Bill Freehan, and speaking of powers, we have been. Freehan now in his 4th All-Star game. In the first 8 games of July, has hit 5 home runs. So he is hot with a long ball. Drysdale delivers and catches the outside. Strike 1 to Freehan. 2 out on the top of the second. National League leading this 39th All-Star game by the score of 1-0. Strike 2 as he swings. Freehan, for the last 3 years, has won the Golden Glove Award. And out at Anaheim, where Tony and I were last year for the All-Star game, Bill caught all 15 innings. He's a workhorse, led the Tigers in games played with 155, despite the fact that he is a catcher most of the time. Low this time from Drysdale, 1-2. Sometimes they'll haul Bill out to play at first base. 1-2 to him with 2 out of the second. Drysdale, once he completes this inning, will have set a brand new All-Star record of 18 1/3 innings in All-Star play. And he's an out away now from that record after setting the record of 58 2/3 scoreless innings in the regular National League season. Inside with the fastball to Freehan, and it's 2-2.
Gene, I guess that's pretty much the pitching pattern. Drysdale uses that slider in the outside corner and busts him with a fastball inside.
That's what he's been following all year, and I think as far back as I can remember, he's been most effective.
Freehan waiting now on the 2-2 pitch from Drysdale. Low, and it is 3-2. And this is the first time that Don has gone that far. Fregosi, in the first inning, got up as far as 2-2 and then lined his double off the wall and left. That scooted between the legs of Kurt Flood. Carew hit a 2-0 pitch. Howard lined out on the first pitch. Horton went out on the first pitch. Killebrew went out on the first pitch. So the last 3 men before Freehan, Drysdale has simply gotten with 1 pitch. Now he's up to 3-2 to Freehan, and he throws and is a ground ball, which is fair. Santo takes it in back of third base and fires on and just does get Bill Freehan. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left. In the middle of the second.
Tony Kubek, Jim Simpson, and the voice of the Astros, Gene Elston, from here in Houston in the Astrodome in Texas. Where the National League is coming up to bat in the last half of the second inning. They have a 1-run lead over Louis Tiant. And right now, Jim, we've got some activity in the American League bullpen. Blue Moon Odom.
Oh, Tony, Blue Moon Odom did work Sunday, as we said at the outset, but only 2 innings, and he last started on Thursday, so perhaps he's the freshest pitcher. And Tiant did say he would like to go 2 innings. Now, Luis is trailing 1-0, but not all his fault. A single to Mays, then an error by the first baseman, and a wild pitch got him as far as third base, and a double play brought Mays home with the run. So it's 1-0, and here's Tommy Helms, the second baseman of Cincinnati, who fouls the first pitch from Tian back, strike one. Helms hitting at .302, 1 home run, 28 RBIs, and he can hustle. He's got 21 doubles. And Helms, of course, voted on along with Pete Rose, who broke his thumb over the weekend out at Chavez Ravine, and Rose is in uniform but on the bench. 1 strike pitch now to Helms, and he swings at this one too and also fouls it back, and freehand took off his mask, looked up. He's smiling now, but Tony, he had no idea where that ball went as he looked up into this dome with the light still outside.
Gene, it's a little light out there yet, and I guess the Astrodome top is painted, but they still have difficulty at times.
They'll get fooled occasionally, even at night, on some of those pop balls behind the plate.
Helms, Rookie of the Year 2 years ago, waiting on the 2-strike pitch and lines this one down the right field line. Howard is over. Helms is going to go for 2, testing the arm of Howard, and Howard throws, and Helms is in. We said he could hustle. He's got 21 doubles. There's a double right here.
And Jim, you had mentioned Ducky Medwick, and I had never seen Medwick play, but I knew he was a bad ball hitter, and that pitch right there was up and away in the eyes of Helms. He really tomahawked it down that right field line.
Well, Tian, with 2 strikes on anybody, Tony, doesn't often come in with that kind of pitch when he's right, as you well know. Tian this year has shut out many teams. Here is Jerry Grody now with the National League leading 1-0 in a man scoring position. Let us see how they play it, whether they'll try to move him up or have Grody and Kessinger swing away. Helms, with a lot of speed, leads off second base. Tian looking in. The Grody hitting at .291 on the year, and he was set to swing that time, but it is ball 1. Tian has 7 shutouts this year, but he has not been able to shut out the National League tonight.
Both Brooks Robinson and Harmon Killebrew are playing fairly shallow. Brooks is creeping up with the pitch, looking for a possible bunt.
Tian ready now for the 1-0 pitch. Outside and high, Odom continues to warm in the bullpen for the American League. No activity yet. Don Drysdale has already set a new All Star Game record for innings pitched, 18 in the third. Legally can go 1 more inning. That is all. The only time he can go more than 3 innings, if you go into overtime, or if you came in relief in the middle of an inning, then you can go 3 1/3. If you go into overtime after 9, you can go as long as you can stand it. Here's a hesitation pitch that drops across the plate. Strike 1 to Grody. It's 2-1. Horton in left, Yastrzemski in center, Howard in right. They are all left fielders, but tonight called upon for at least the first 3 innings to share some duties. And now, going down to the bullpen of the National League All-Stars looks to be Juan Marichal, who's had quite a record. Strike. Fastball under the hands of Grody, who started to offer at it and then held up. It's 2-2. Helms in his second All-Star game with his first hit. Last year came up as a pinch hitter and lined out on the first pitch. Tonight he went to 0-2 and then doubled to right, testing the arm of Howard. Grody waits for the 2-2 pitch from Tian and strikes out. First strikeout of the ball game. And Tony, we thought we were going to see a lot more strikeouts than what we have thus far.
Yes, Jim, of course, the American League, especially with Howard, he strikes out quite a bit. He averages 150 times a year. Harmon Killebrew strikes out a lot. Willie Horton will go about 100 times a year also. Drysdale, of course, going with the sinker ball. Tian not having his good fastball thus far tonight.
Don Kessinger stepping in from the Chicago Cubs. He's the shortstop, batting 8th, hitting .252. Don has 1 home run in his major league career. 2 years ago in May, he began a switch hit and really upped his average. Kessinger in his first All-Star game and thrilled to death. 1-0 the score of the National League, and there's a fastball from Tian, fouled off to the left by Kessinger. Don will be 26 next week. Fine basketball player at Ole Miss. He was all Southeastern Conference there, as well as All-American in baseball. And one of the professional basketball leagues wanted him to play basketball in the winter. Looking at such as Ron Reed of Atlanta, who is on this All-Star squad also, he played basketball and went to baseball. And Don decided to stick with it as Tian throws high. It's 1-1.
The American League defensively for Kessinger has Willie Horton right on the left field line. Yastrzemski, the center fielder, playing toward left center. Howard giving him the right field line. Everybody playing Kessinger as a late swinger.
Kessinger to be followed by the pitcher Drysdale, and of course Don is a very good hitter. Helms at second, 1 out, 1-0. The National League. We're in the last of the second. Tiant delivers way high. It's like he lost control of the pitch, Tony, just at the point of release. It looked like it hopped out of his hand.
He looks like he's overthrowing, Jim. He's trying to throw that good hard fastball of his, but of course, as you've mentioned so many times today, he works Sunday, does not quite have that edge as he usually does, and he's maybe overthrowing a little bit, not having as good control.
Now there's 2-1. The Kessinger, who waits, batting left-handed, of course, as the switch hitter against the right-hander Luis Tiant. Right-hander Blue Moon Odom warming up. There's a sidearm pitch, and it's laced foul to the left. And the right-hander Juan Marichal of the Giants warming up over to our right in the National League bullpen.
Jim, you mentioned the hesitation pitch of Luis Tiant. What amazes me about him is his hesitation stretch. I've never seen anyone come down so slow. I'd like to see that in slow motion. It probably would be stop action almost.
It's almost, and from that, he can really fire the ball, but he's not doing it tonight, Gene. He really, as Tony pointed out earlier, throws a lot of fastballs. Tonight he is throwing very few. I guess because of not having the energy that he would have with sufficient rest, is playing it a little cute. Now he comes back with a fastball, and it's good enough to strike out Kessinger. He struck out 2 in a row.
He put that one in a real good spot. He had Kessinger going to the opposite field and busted one in right on his fist.
And that brings up Don Drysdale, who has that new record for innings pitched, who has the record of 58 2/3 scoreless innings, and he was a good hitter. Leading 1-0, and with 2 out, and Helms still at second base after his leadoff double, has a chance to make it 2-0 the National League. Odom continues to work. Tiant only expected to go 2 innings, and obviously that is all he will go. Luis ready to pitch to Drysdale. Big, tall right-hander. Just misses outside, ball 1. Drysdale himself is a huge man, but yet alongside of Frank Howard, who used to be his teammate with the Los Angeles Dodgers. He doesn't look that big. Dave Bristol, the coach at third, his wife is expecting a baby at any moment, but Dave told us before the game, I don't think she'd interrupt the ball game for a baby. Tiant ready, sidearm this time, and Drysdale drives it to left. Horton takes a couple of steps and has it for the 3rd out, and Tiant gets out of the game and the inning, giving up 1 unearned run back in the 1st inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left. At the end of 2, the National League 1, the American League, nothing.
Along with Jim Simpson and Don Elston, Tony Kubek from the Astrodome, where the National League is enjoying a 1-0 lead. We're going into the last half of the 3rd. Check that top of the 3rd inning with Brooks Robinson coming to the plate for the American League.
Now for Brooks Robinson, this is his 12th All Star game, his 7th start, his 5th start in a row. And I think we told you in 1966 he was the most valuable player. Last year, when Tony Perez hit a home run in the 15th to win it 2-1, Robinson had a home run for the American League's only run. This is a ground ball. Kessinger comes off, takes it back a second, sidearm throw. Beautiful play, and Robinson is out swinging on the first pitch. And that's the 4th American League batter to swing on the first pitch against Don Drysdale.
Gene, I think that's pretty much the pattern against Drysdale, isn't it? He's got that good control, and hitters don't like to have them get ahead of him.
They're usually going for a first of a couple pitches on it, Tony, and of course, a lot of that stuff goes into the ground like it is tonight.
Well, Luis Tiant goes out of the game. And batting for him is Kenny Harrelson. Tiant gave up 1 unearned run, struck out 2, walked nobody, and gave up 2 hits. Now, when I say up steps Kenny Harrelson, that requires some explanation. He is hitting .305 to lead the American League. He has 17 home runs. He has 60 RBIs to be one behind Frank Howard. And in the last 25 games has driven in 30 runs. And in Boston's Fenway Park, they are coming to see Harrelson as well as Yastrzemski. Outside from Drysdale on the first pitch to the Hawk, and it's 1-0. Top of the 3rd, 1-0, the National League on that unearned run. Harrelson of the Red Sox has the odd stance in that he puts his weight back on his right foot, and his left foot he stands on tippy toe. This one gets to the outside corner. It is 1-1. And what is his philosophy, Tony, of hitting that way?
Well, I guess it's just what you said, Jim. He likes to keep that weight on that back foot as is so important in hitting, not lunging and getting off on that front foot. However, a couple of good hitters, one in this ball game in particular, Henry Aaron, hits off that front foot and does a pretty good job, too.
Of course, Aaron's got one of the greatest pairs of wrists anywhere. 3/4 delivery by Drysdale and fouled at the plate, picked up by Hal Ermer as he trots in from his third base coaching box. Grody behind the plate, Drysdale a pitcher, McCovey at first, Helms at second, Kessinger at short, Santo at third, Flood at left, Mays in center, Aaron in right, and Harrelson as the pinch hitter for Luis Tiant is the first change of many changes that we will get in this 39th All-Star game. 1-2 the count, Kenny, with 1 out in the third. Drysdale ready. Long drive, high in the air. Flood going back on the warning track, now toward the line, and waits and has it for the second out. And at Fenway Park, that would have been another home run for Ken Harrelson.
Right, Jim, and Gene, exactly what you said earlier. The ball looked like it was going when it left the bat, but died.
Here's Jim Fregosi on a 2-2 pitch in the first inning, doubled. Got as far as third base when Carew grounded out. But that's all the farther that Fregosi got, as Yastrzemski fouled out to the third baseman, and Howard hit the first pitch in line to Kessinger at short. 2 out now, none on. Fregosi waiting. Fastball from Drysdale catches the outside corner, and it's strike 1. Well, check the number of people in this Astrodome. Remember, 50,908. If they surpass that, it'll be the largest crowd ever indoors to watch a baseball game. Line down the right field line, high, and will be caught or not? No, sir. McCovey got down there. The ball hit in the playing field, but right at the base of the fence. And, of course, with Fregosi up, Aaron in right field was pulled over toward right center, and it was too long a run for him also. Right down in the bullpen where Juan Marichal continues to warm up, as this will be the last inning for Don Drysdale. Drysdale, once he is through here, will go back to the clubhouse. We'll hang around for the end of the game, and then with the Dodgers, move on to Atlanta when the season resumes on Thursday. 2 strikes to Fregosi. Drysdale ready, little ground ball that Don will handle himself. Waits, throws to McCovey at first, and there's the third out. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left. In the middle of the third, the National League 1, the American League nothing.
Well, the National League will be coming up to the plate in the last half of the third inning. They still enjoy that 1-0 lead.
And warming up on the mound right now, Tony, is John Blue Moon Odom, who this year has won 7 and lost 5, earned an average 2.38. One of the bonus players of the Kansas City Athletics, now called, of course, the Oakland Athletics. Odom, the second pitcher, Tiant working the 2 innings, giving up 1 run, unearned, 2 hits, and striking out 2. And what a job that Blue Moon has to face. He must face Willie Mays to lead off. Mays has scored the game's only run on a single, an error, a wild pitch, and a double play back in the first inning. Odom ready, and he is throwing hard, Tony, but it's too low, ball 1. Odom is only 23, born and still lives in Macon, Georgia. And 4 years ago received a reported bonus of $75,000. Has been with the Athletics at least part of every season. Odom working back to Mays, and he blows this one right by Willie, who loses his hat. It's 1-1.
Odom's got that good moving fastball. Also the good hard slider. Can change up on occasion, but he's just a youngster and learning the tricks of the trade.
Denny McLean, Mel Stottlemyre, Sam McDowell, Tommy John, all still in the wings, and Gary Bell as pitchers for the American League. Ground ball. Fregosi at shortstop, sidearm throw to Killebrew, and Mays is out. 1 out in the last of the third. And that'll bring up Kurt Flood, who walked and later was doubled up with McCovey. Grounded to Carew, who threw to Fregosi, back to Killebrew for a rally-ending double play, but on that double play, Mays scored. The crowd here at the Astrodome is quiet tonight. There have been no long balls with the exception of that double off the bat of Fregosi to lead off the game. Odom ready and throws low and away, ball 1 to Kurt Flood.
Jim, Juan Marichal is down there warming up for the National League. He'll be the pitcher next inning. Also, Matty Alou, the Pittsburgh center field, and Julio Javier, the Cardinals second baseman, are down there loosening up.
And I'm sure we'll see some defensive changes for the American League. Ground ball. This is Fregosi at shortstop again. He'll have the long throw on the speedy Flood and has it.
Great throw from deep in the hole by Fregosi. And we've got an injury down there. It appeared that Harmon Killebrew has gotten hurt, Jim. On that stretch, he may have popped something.
He is down. Everybody has run over to gather around him, including his manager, Cal Hermer, who is the coach at third base. The trainer is out. Dick Williams is out. Mayo Smith, and all of the infield of the American League. And they're calling right now for a stretcher or a doctor. I know not which. But they're calling, and Killebrew, stretched out, leg behind him. Boog Powell is being waved into the ball game and immediately will take over at first base. They are taking Harmon Killebrew off on a stretcher. He was not hit, nor do we believe he was spiked by Flood, but rather seemed to stretch out. And something in his leg, apparently, Gene Elston, just popped.
That's the way I saw it, as Tony pointed out too, Jim. That was a tremendous stretch for him. And he evidently has pulled something. Of course, it's pretty difficult to tell here, but I would imagine the way of the stretching, probably something up in the thigh or something just popped.
So Harmon Killebrew right now is being carried off, and Mayo Smith is one of the stretcher bearers, and he has waved someone out to take his place so that Mayo can go back to the baselines. There are two out here in the last of the National League now, and McCovey, who can hit the ball a long way, who grounded into a double play, will be the batter.
And Jim, let's put Boog Powell in for Harmon Killebrew at first base. He'll bat in the same spot.
So now Odom is ready, and the crowd quiets down even more. National League leads 1-0 in the last of the third on an unearned run back in the first inning. Blue Moon Odom, the second pitcher, now ready to face Big Willie McCovey, a left-handed batter from the Giants, and Odom is outside with his first pitch, ball one.
And, Gene, you talked about some of the long balls you've seen hit in the Astrodome. I guess you've seen Willie hit a few here.
I think Willie holds the record here for a ball hit in the mezzanine seats, which is up over the auxiliary scoreboard and right. The longest one was about 4 rows from the back.
In back of us, as it's strike one to McCovey, 1-1. The dugout report, and of course they have not seen the doctor or anything else, but the trainers came back and said that Killebrew has pulled a muscle in the back of his leg in that long stretch to get the throw, the hurry throw, because of the speedy Flood. Oh, Odom changed up on McCovey, and Willie was out in front by about 4 feet with a huge swing. It is 1-2. Marichal will replace Drysdale, who goes out of this ball game having pitched 3 innings, given up 1 hit, struck out no one, and walked no one. Odom ready to work. Overhand fastball, but it is low and inside, dug out of the dirt by Freehand, 2-2. The Astrodome in Houston, Texas. They call it the 8th wonder of the world, and that's where we are tonight with the 39th annual All Star Game. Live on NBC Radio, and I remind, of course, that again this year we'll be back for the World Series. So right now, the attention on this galaxy of stars as Odom changes up on McCovey, but the pitch is too low, and he's gone to 3-2. First 2 men that Odom faced grounded to Fregosi. Fregosi made a fine play on Flood, and in the stretch, of course, Killebrew was injured. 3-2 pitch, and he struck him out on the fastball, low and around the knees. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left. At the end of 3, the National League 1 and the American League nothing.
Just this past season, the first part of the year, Judge Roy Hoffines completed a new complex which is located up in right field. That's in the outfield area. And it covers 6 stories. This is his private area. And he has just about everything in there you'd want. It's actually a small city complex in itself. He has something for the children. He has something for the adults. He has a presidential suite there, of course. 4 other suites, complete. With a boardroom, which incidentally the American and National League, they will hold their meetings there tomorrow. It's a little bit difficult to go into any expression or description on it. Like one fellow said, he said, you have to see it to believe it, and then when you do, you still don't.
I told Judge Hopkins that if it were in a James Bond movie, you still wouldn't believe it. You'd say that James Bond has gone too far. Thank you, Gene. Here's Rod Carew to lead off the fourth for the American League. Marichel's first pitch to him changes on him with a big motion, and it's strike one as Carew swung. Carew on a 2-0 pitch grounded to McCovey at first, back in the first inning. National League out in front. There have been no changes in their defense, with the exception of the fact that Marichel is the pitcher. Marichel already again with a big motion, and this one, Carew got a piece of it, fouled it at the plate, and it's 2 strikes.
Jim, the American League will have some changes, it looks like, in the next inning. Rick Monday, Oakland's great young center fielder, has been warming up with Tony Oliva, the Twins' right fielder.
Well, there was a contention or the thought of people such as Frank Howard that Monday and Oliva would get in quickly. Yastrzemski moving to left and Horton and Howard coming out. Bounding ball by second base is Kessinger. Sidearm go to McCovey, and in a quick play has the speedy Rod Carew.
And that's the second good play that Kessinger has come up with. Of course, the Astrodome with a high bounce. Kessinger having to get rid of the ball very quickly because Carew has great speed.
Here is Carl Yastrzemski, who fouled DeSanto at third last time up. And of course, Marichel, who is in the ball game now, is 115, lost 4, fine earned run average of 2.48. And Juan has been around All Star games before. This is his 7th. Ball one now to Carl Yastrzemski. Yastrzemski and Harrelson of Boston leading the league in hitting. Harrelson first, Yastrzemski second. Marichel right back with that big motion. Ground ball. Helms is over. Has it in his glove. Turns, fires to McCovey. He turns around just in time to make the catch. Good play by Tommy Helms with a lot of speed going to his left. And Yastrzemski is out. 2 down in the top of the fourth. 1-0 the score. Marichel now faces Frank Howard, who hit the first pitch on a line to Kessinger last time up, but everybody here knows that Frank could tie the ball game with one swing of his big bat. Marichel is ready to face him. He has faced him before in the National League. Sidearm pitch, but it's outside. Ball 1 to Frank Howard. Howard with 25 home runs, hit 10 home runs in 6 games in May, and that's a brand new Major League record. Has 25 on the year, but at All-Star game time last year, he had 24. Big swing and a big miss. 1-1 to Howard.
Marichel keeping the ball away from Frank Howard thus far. Kessinger, the shortstop, Jim, is playing on the outfield grass. You don't see that too often.
He backs up any farther, he'll be in the way of Kurt Flood. But Howard, they are not shifting for him in the National League as they do around the American League now. Helms is on the first base side of second base. Howard's strictly a pull hitter inside from Marichel. It is 2-1.
I often wonder what a pitcher thinks about when he's facing Frank Howard, inasmuch as Tony just pointed out that Kessinger's deep, and even the third base coach is way out of the box.
That's right. Irmer has backed up a little bit. Right back, foul. One of Frank's teammates at Ohio State, where he was all Big Ten and captain of the basketball team, Gene, dropped by to see Frank in the Washington Senator dressing room a couple of weeks ago, and he is taller than Howard. And the rest of the Senators were peeking around from behind lockers, just trying to see somebody that's bigger than Hondo, Frank Howard. They were in awe. 2-2 to him with 2 out in the fourth. Marichel sidearms him this time, and he gets a bit of the ball on just off his fists and fouls it back.
You know, he played in the Texas League for Victoria, Texas, when he first broke in. Pete Reeser was his manager, and he had him leading off because he wanted to get him up more times. And I think he hit most of his home runs, and I think he had over 35 and a half a season, most of them leading off.
2-2 pitch. Marichel goes sidearm and strikes him out. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left. In the middle of the fourth, the score remains the National League 1, the American League nothing. We have a change. For the American League, Howard, who struck out and went 0 for 2 on the day, lining out on the pitch to Kessinger and then striking out, has been retired, and Tony Oliva, a right fielder by profession with the Minnesota Twins, has gone into right field to replace him. Hank Aaron will lead it off in the last of the fourth inning for the National League. Facing Blue Moon Odom. He outworked the first 2 innings. Odom is now about to work his second. For those who may not have heard, Mays in the last of the first singled, went to second on an error, at first. Went to third on the wild pitch and scored with McCovey in a double play, and that's it. 1-0 now to Aaron, and 1-0 the score. So Powell's at first, Carew at second, Fregosi at short, and Robinson at third. Horton in left, Yastrzemski in center, and Oliva in right. Odom is ready and fires high to Hank Aaron. It's 2-0.
Once again, Jim, for the American League in the bullpen, some activity. Dennis McLain with the Detroit Tigers.
And, of course, Denny McLain, to repeat, worked on Sunday 9 innings. But he'll be going with just a day's rest. Odom is right back, and Aaron hits this one high in the air. Robinson breaks off at third base, but I think he'll watch it go into the stands about 10 rows deep. And it's 2-1 to Aaron.
Tony mentioned earlier about Hank Aaron being underrated, and I think, if I may clarify this for Tony, I think I had the same feeling that he did when he said it, in as much as Hank is not a spectacular type of player. He does not appear that way. He sort of reminds me of Al Kaline. He is a much better outfielder than you would think he is. He's a smart outfielder and doesn't have to make any spectacular plays. He's just sort of a subdued ball player, but great.
2-1 pitch to Aaron, and it catches the corner. It is 2-2. The youngster from Macon, Georgia, John Blue Moon Odom, on the mound with his white shoes, his gray uniform with green sweatshirt and green cap. Traveling uniform of the Oakland A's, as Aaron bounces one foul at the plate. It is 2-2. Ron Santo on deck. And the crowd here tonight largely has been quiet. The Astrodome, Gene, correct me, I've been here a couple of times, usually sounds very noisy. With the exception of that one run in the first inning, they really haven't had much to cheer about from the standpoint of output. Aaron strikes out, Freehan drops the ball, but tags it. And Odom now has struck out his second man. That's the fourth strikeout for American League pitchers.
I think one of the big reasons that the noise level is down tonight, they're not working the scoreboard as though Houston were playing at home tonight.
I guess that does have a lot to do with charging off, doesn't it? Here is Ron Santo, who grounded to Fregosi at short to end the first inning. Santo with power. McLain continues to warm up for the American League, and Santo tries to generate some power then as he swings hard and misses. Strike one. A note out on the scoreboard. Good luck to Mrs. Dave Bristol, who is tonight expecting a child. Dave is expecting it to be a boy and wants to name it after a football player, former next-door neighbor Lance Allworth of San Diego. Odom comes back outside. It is 1-1 to Santo. National League got an unearned run in the first, and that's been all of the scoring, and here we are in the fourth inning as the game moves right along. Next year, the Centennial Baseball, the All Star Game, will be in Washington. Fastball by Odom, and he didn't think he missed. But Shag Crawford, the National League umpire behind the plate, said, yes, you did. It's 2-1. And Odom takes off his glove and stares out to center field. Now ready again, getting the sign from his catcher, the workhorse, Bill Freehan of Detroit. Low, and it is 3-1. Detroit, to show you the kind of power that has its 9.5 games out in front. 4 players, more than anybody else on the American League squad, an infielder, an outfielder, a catcher, and a pitcher, showing the balance that the Tigers have. 3-1 now. Foul at the plate with a big cut by Santo, 3-2.
Odom's got a pretty good breaking pitch going for him tonight, Jim. He's got that good slider, keeping it away pretty well to these National League power hitters.
Last of the fourth, 1 run, 2 hits, no errors for the National League, no runs, 1 hit, 1 error for the Americans. National Leaguers leading 20-17 in total games. There was a tie of 1 game in Boston about 6 years ago. High in Santo, who has led the National League in walks for the last 2 years, draws a walk. The first given up by Odom, the first base runner for Blue Moon.
Jim, Santo is down on first and does not have a great deal of speed, but Tommy Helms can really handle the bat. He hit down the right field line his last at bat, so we could see manager Red Shaney's possibly try something in this situation.
Well, Tommy Helms, back in the second inning, hit a 0-2 pitch and lined it down the right field line. Howard came over. Helms tested his arm and beat the throw to second for a double and made a dandy play in the last inning on the ground ball at second. he is having a pretty good All-Star game. First pitch from Blue Moon Odom, low and away, ball one. And Santo not looking like he was going anywhere. Jerry Grody on deck. And before this ball game is over, we will have a bundle of changes for you. Everybody wants to play, and everybody nearly gets a chance to play. Here's the 1-0 pitch, fouled back by Helms, and this time, Tony, it looked like he was trying to punch it to right.
Yes, he was. With Boot Powell, the big first baseman, holding Santo on, it leaves a pretty good hole. Carew is shaded a little bit towards second for the double play situation, so Helms was going for a ground ball between second and the first baseman, Boot Powell.
1-1 the count now. Santo leading off at first base. Odom staring in. Now throwing, and it's low with the fastball, 2-1. Dave Bristol, the coach, at third. Norman Franks, the coach, at first. Jack Crawford of the National League calling balls and strikes. Larry Knapp of the American League at first. Mill Stein of the National League at second. Bill Kinnaman of the American League at third. Jim Odom of the American League at left field. And Harry Wendelstedt of the National in right field. McLean continuing to warm. It's 2-1 now. Odom throws outside and low to Helms. And it is now 3-1. One out in the fourth for the National League. They lead 1-0 in Santos at first. And Freehan is going out to talk to Odom.
Jim, I'm certain he's going out there telling him to be alert. Keep Santo as close as he can. Because in this situation, manager Red Cheney knows he's going to have to come close to the plate. So we've got a hit-and-run situation in the balance.
Freehan is back. Helms is back in the batter's box, and Odom is ready. 3-1 the count. Santo 4 or 5 steps off, inching off first base, making as if he's going to go, and there he goes. The ball is inside. It's ball 4, and Santo can go in standing up. Second walk in a row given up by Odom after getting Aaron on a strikeout. And that'll bring up Jerry Grody, who struck out back in the second inning. Grody is a story with the New York Mets. As a matter of fact, Gene, Grody was here with you.
He was originally signed by Houston and then traded to New York about 3 years ago. Real fine catcher.
Of course, we remember that he caught that game that Ken Johnson threw. Ground ball by Grody, waiting for his Fregosi to Carew for 1. He's taken down, and his throw to first base is too late. Santos stopping at third. There's 2 out with runners at the corners. Grody on the force play at first, and Santos moved to third.
And Tommy Helms really dumped Rod Carew, the American League All-Star second baseman. Got a good jump off first base and forced Carew off the bag, but still knocked him down.
I started to say, Gene, that Ken Johnson, and I'm sure you did that game, pitched a no-hitter several years back. Grody caught it, but Johnson lost the no-hitter.
Lost it on an error, and the ball was hit by Pete Rose.
Here's Kessinger, who struck out, still batting left-handed. Ground ball to Fregosi, waits for it, flips on the hand to Carew for the force play at second. And that's the end of the fourth for the National League. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 2 left. At the end of 4 complete. The National League 1, the American League, nothing.
Back Jim Simpson and Gene Elston from the Astrodome in Houston. The National League going into the top of the 5th, enjoying a 1-0 lead. For the American League, it's no runs on 1 hit and 1 error. The National League has 1 run on 2 hits and no errors.
And Tony, the National League pitching meeting Don Drysdale and Juan Marichal, and that is quite a combination. After the leadoff double to Fregosi in the first inning, has retired the last 12 men in a row. Many of those, and we discussed the reason for it on the first pitch, including 3 in a row. And here's Willie Horton, who took a look at 1 pitch from Drysdale and flied to right back in the second inning. He is up again and could be substituted for after batting this time. Feeling being that maybe Rick Mundy will go to center and Yastrzemski will move to left, but we'll see. Marichal ready for his second inning of play. Ground ball over his head. Helms charging at second base. Underhand throw and half.
And what a day Helms has had, Jim. Slid hard the last inning, breaking up a double play. A great play behind Juan Marichal. Had to come in fast, make that low underhanded throw, and just came up with a fine play.
Well, that's 1 on Yastrzemski and 1 on Horton, and Helms has really made a fine play. And of course, he's got a double in the walk and is on his way to a good All-Star game. Here's first time. Killebrew, for those who may not have heard, and stretching for a throat. Pulled a muscle in the back of his leg. Foul down the line and deep, and it brings a few O's and R's from the crowd. History of Easter families. Had great years followed by bad years followed by great years. Swings and misses on an outside pitch. And it's 2 strikes to the big man.
Gene, that looked like the screwball that Marichal throws so very often to these left-handed power hitters.
He's had so many pitches, Tony, it's pretty hard to keep up with him.
Boog is hitting .267 this year. He does have power. 13 home runs, 50 RBIs. Marichal ready again. Overhand delivery this time, and he went for it and struck out, although the pitch was outside. Marichal has his second strikeout, and that's the second for the National League. And now 14 American Leaguers have gone down in a row as they trail 1-0. Here's Bill Freehan, who went to 3-2 back in the second before grounding to Santo at third base. Big Detroit catcher facing the great San Francisco pitcher, and Marichal throws the first pitch low and away, ball 1. Well, you can't talk about the weather here, Tony. It's 72 degrees, air conditioned indoors. Here's the 1-0 pitch. This one is on the corner, 1-1.
Marichal, one of those type of pitchers like Warren Spahn and Robin Roberts, just can never seem to throw a ball right down the middle. He's always on the corners, and when he does miss, it's not by much.
1-1 now the count. To Freehan, Marichal is ready. This is inside. Bill now stands very close to the plate. Last year he led the American League in getting hit by pitches. Hit 20 times, but nevertheless his average by standing in a little bit closer zoomed up once again. Preliminary report now on Harmon Killebrew, pulled hamstring, and that's bad news for Harmon and the Twins. Here's a pitch, and it's on the outside corner, and it's 2-2. As Marichal changed speeds and found the outside corner with a breaking pitch. 2 out of the American League fifth. National League on top by a single run, the only run of the ball game. Brooks Robinson on deck. Marichal ready again on 2-2, sidearms him and strikes him out. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left. And the American League goes down in order again. In the middle of the fifth, the National League 1, the American League nothing. Last of the fifth inning in the Astrodome, Jim Simpson with Tony Kubek and Gene Elston, and Tom Howler steps in to bat for Juan Marichal to lead off the last of the fifth. Denny McLean is the pitcher. First pitch is high, ball 1 to Howler. Askew has gone in as a catcher, and as we anticipated, Rick Mundy has gone into center field, and Yastrzemski has moved to left. So Yastrzemski left. Mundy, there's a ball hit by Howler high into right field. Oliva is out there, looking up for it, and has it for the first out of the fifth. And Giroux, Tony, going out on the plate, has simply lost the ball in the right.
Looked like it did, Jim. Anytime you take your eye off the ball in this Astrodome, as Gene Elston told us earlier, you find it difficult to pick it back up. The new pitcher in the next inning will be Steve Carlson of the Cardinals coming on to replace Marichal.
Well, the change has begun to fast and furious now as Willie Mays, who has gotten on with a single, gone to second on an error, and to third on the wild pitch, and scored on a double play, is up again. This ball gets past Askew and back to the screen, ball 1. And Mays, aside from scoring the game's only run, is grounded to short. Now, of course, McLean is the game's winningest pitcher these days, 16-2, with an earned run average of 2.09. But as we told you, Denny worked on Sunday 9 innings. Back again. There's strike to Willie Mays. 1-1. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors for the National League. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error for the Americans. Denny McLean of Detroit, working back, ground ball. 1 hop to Brooks Robinson, takes his time, fires on to Boog Powell, and there's the second out of the fifth. McLean has been in other All-Star games. As a matter of fact, out in St. Louis, Tony, 2 years ago in all of that heat, we saw McLean pitch, and he did very well. As I recall, 3 innings without giving up a run or a hit. Here's Kurt Flood, who's walked and grounded to short. Outside the pitch for McLean to Askew. It was on Flood's ground ball that Fregosi hurried his throw, and Killebrew stretched to get to him. His ball, 2-0 to Flood. That Killebrew pulled that hamstring muscle. And Tony, you know enough about hamstrings. That takes a little while, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. There are varying degrees as far as how badly his muscle could be pulled. If it's a tear, it could be very dangerous to his career even.
Pitch is 3-0 now to Flood. 2 out in the 5th. National League 1. McLean is back, and there's strike 1. Denny, for those who may not know it, is a pretty good musician. Plays the organ and plays it professionally in the off-season. Here's the 3-1 pitch, and this is way outside, and it's ball 4, and there's the 3rd walk issued by American League pitching. The first by Denny McLean.
Jim, McLean has always had the problem, of course, of having the long ball hit off of him, the home run that beats him in the late innings. This year, however, he has had good success, he says, because he can throw that fastball from the side more often and the curveball and keep it down low in the strike zone where that fastball will sink.
They're making the announcements that Askew is behind the plate and Mundy is in center field. Here is Woody McCovey, who's grounded into a double play, and on that play, Mays scored the game's only run and struck out in the 3rd. McLean has led the league in giving up home runs the last 2 years. McLean is ready as Flood leads off, changes up on this pitch, and it's ball 1. Askew, if you're keeping score, will bat 5th. McLean 7th, and Monday 9th. McCovey ready, Flood leading off, ground ball, but it's fouled, and will go toward the National League dugout where Herman Franks muffs it, trying to pick it up with one hand, and muffs it again as he finally picks it up and tosses it to one of the National League stars. And Franks is being ribbed by Rusty Staub of Houston for having muffed the ball twice. 1-1 the count for McCovey with Flood down at first. Strike as Flood moved a good distance off first base, but did not go on his way. 1 and 2, and of course, in a case like this, Tony, they don't know the motion of the pitcher, and maybe there'd be a little bit more reticent to go. Now he is thrown back, and I want to tell you, he caught Flood leaning the wrong way, but the throw was high, and Powell did not have a chance to get it down on Kirk. 1 and 2 the count to McCovey. Here's the pitch, and he strikes out again. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left. At the end of 5, the National League 1, the American League nothing. You got your scorecards ready? Haller remains behind the plate after pinch hitting and will bat 9th. Steve Carlin comes on to pitch, but will bat 2nd. As Kurt Flood goes out of the ball game. And Matty Alou has gone into the ball game in left field. The league's leading hitter, and the leading hitter in the major leagues, and he will bat 7th. Now they're changing it. Alou is batting 2nd, so scratch out as we are doing, and I will assume that means Carlin has to bat 7th. Red Cheney's came out and is with Shag Crawford right now, telling him what he intends to do. Brooks Robinson will be the batter. Then Shag Crawford and I get our scorecard straightened out. So Haller behind the plate, McCovey at first, Helms at 2nd, Kessinger at short, Santo at 3rd, Steve Carlin as the pitcher, and Robinson hits one off the 5th. Salou making a chance in left field on the first pitch that he has been in the ballgame, catches it for the first out. Carlton, as Marichal worked only 2 innings, giving up no hits, has only won 1 hit by the American League for Gosse's leadoff double. Here is Rick Mundy up for the first time. Carlin told his manager, Red Shane-Deans, to be the thrill of a lifetime if he could get into the All Star Game. Well, he's in, and pitching now to Monday. Strike with a good pitch. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors for the National League. 0, 1, and 1 for the American. Carlin, a left-hander right back. Ground ball. Carlin breaks off the mound. Monty's fast, but he has plenty of time to throw him out for the second out of the American League sixth. And now for the American League. And we must tell you, if you hear us repeat those line scores, that the National League is hardly knocking down any walls either. 2 hits to the American League's 1, and the only run of the ball game unearned. But the American League is finding it increasingly tough to get on base. They haven't since the first man up. Here's Fregosi, who takes inside on a curveball. Ball 1, so it's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 17 men in a row have gone down before National League pitching. Back with another curveball, and this is strike 1, 1 and 1.
Gene, you've seen Steve Carlton more than we have. He's a pretty hard thrower, isn't he?
He's a great pitcher. He's going to be a real good one.
Swing, and a big miss by Jim Fregosi.
He's pretty much of a character, too. He's a little bit on what we call the flaky side. I think it's going to be real colorful along that line. Real good boy.
Down to Fregosi, 1 and 2. Carlin, a big left-hander, throws, and Fregosi chases an outside fastball and strikes out. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left in the middle of the sixth. National League 1, the American League nothing.
Tony Kubek, Jim Simpson, and Gene Elston from the Astrodome. The National Leaguers still with a 1-0 lead. Jim Fregosi with the only hit for the American Leaguers. Leadoff double. Tommy Helms with a double for the National Leaguers, and Willie Mays with a single.
Denny McLean working now to Hank Aaron in the last of the sixth inning, and Campy Campaneris of Oakland is your new shortstop and will lead off in Fragosi's place. Here's McLean's pitch, fastball on the outside corner, 1 and 1 now to Aaron. And Don Wirt has gone in to replace Brooks Robinson at third base and will bat 8th. McLean working very fast, and there's a line drive. Third base hit for the National League. Down to 1 goes Jastrzemski in left to hold Aaron to a single. Aaron is now 1 for 2 officially. He is also walked. That's the first base hit off Denny McLean, who came on in the 5th inning, gave up a walk. And here's Ron Santo, who walked in the 4th inning, got as far as 3rd, but that's all. He's also grounded out. 1-0, the National League. Askew behind the plate, McLean the pitcher, Cowell at first, Carew at second, Campaneris at short, Wirt at third, Yastrzemski in left, Mundy in center, Oliva in right, and McLean ready. And he throws an off-speed pitch that stays high. Ball 1 to Santo.
Right now, Jim, activity in both bullpens. Sam McDowell, the Cleveland left-hander of the American Leaguers. Tom Seaver of the Mets warming up in the National League bullpen.
And McLean ready to throw. Aaron can steal, and there he goes. Sidearm pitch, Askew's throw down to Carew is at second, and Carew has the ball high, and Aaron simply slid it under the tag.
Jim, a little bit of a mix-up in the signals there. Campaneris and Rob Carew converged on the second base bag, but neither wanted to take the throw. I think, had either been on the base and knocked both of them behind it, they'd have had a shot at getting Henry Aaron.
But it's the first stolen base of this game, and Santo now has a man in scoring position. McLean throws sidearm, and a foul ball comes up toward our booth. It's 1-2 to Santo. 1-0 to score the National League, but now, for the first time since the 4th inning, the National League has a chance to add to that score. Tommy Helms on deck, Santo the batter. McDowell throwing to our left, Seaver to our right. Both managers substituting liberally as McLean steps off, as Aaron was nearly halfway to third base.
Jim, Campaneris and Carew continue to have mix-up with their signals. They haven't played together before, remember, so they're trying to get straightened out who's going to hold Aaron on the bag, who's going to take these throws in a steal situation.
McLean is ready, sidearm, and almost threw it away. Askew made a nice backhanded stop across the plate and almost out of the batter's box for the left-handed batters. McLean working with that 1 day's rest. Dick Williams working his men in chips of 2 innings apiece. Campaneris now bluffing Aaron back, 2-2 the count to Santo. Sidearm pitch, hit high in the air. It'll come back on the screen. Askew doesn't even turn around to look for it.
And Henry Aaron down in second base has got Campaneris and Carew moving out of their positions, Jim, giving Ron Santo, of course, the hitter, a little bit of a chance to shoot one through their positions. Of course, McLean hurrying his pitches, trying to get the ball away quickly so Aaron doesn't get that good jump off second should he decide to go.
And remember, Wirt at third and Campaneris at short have not handled a ground ball yet either. Fastball for McLean is outside, and he's gone all the way with Santo, 3-2. Well, the first time that Wirt or Campaneris gets one will be the first time in this game, and your first attempt on the AstroTurf, as we've said time and time again, can be tricky. Drew bluffs back, but McLean misses outside, and Santo goes to first, and then on first and second, with none out in this 1-0 ball game, and Tommy Helms, as Tony said, a wizard with the bat, who can maneuver that bat and the ball coming to the plate.
And Jim, the fellow coming out of the dugout now, should Tommy Helms sacrifice these 2 runners in the scoring position, I'll let you tell who it is.
Oh, this is Rusty Staub. He's the only representative that the Astros have out here tonight.
A pretty good hitter, too. Helms is up there. Infield coming in, Wirt at third, but he's swinging away to Carew at second, who will go to Campaneris back to first, safe at first, and Carew now turns around. Might have left the bag. Denny McLean hands on it, runners at the corners, as Aaron moves on to third base with 1 out. The applause for Rusty Staub of Houston.
Scientific hitter now, Jim. He used to try for the long ball. About 2 seasons ago, he decided to do away with a home run. He is going with the pitch all the time. Always tremendous concentration. He's going to be, I think, one of the better hitters in a long time to come.
McLean ready to pitch to Staub. High with his first pitch. Helms leading off first. Second base is open. Hank Aaron is at third. Both are good base runners. 1 out in the last of the 6th, and the National League out in front by 1-0 and threatening to score again. Overhand ball, change up on it, and Staub fouls it back to screen. 1-1. The Astros crowd knows that Staub now has a chance to drive in at least 1 run. Could do it with a ground out, could do it with a fly out. They would rather him do it with a base hit. On deck is Billy Williams of the Chicago Cubs. Staub hops it up to the left side. Wirt is waiting by third base, staring up into that dome, and has it for the out, and that'll bring up Billy Williams. Staub was batting for Collins. Williams will bat for Kessinger. Billy Williams of Chicago was added when Pete Rose broke his thumb. Williams, of course, one of the, well, they call him Sweet William because he's got that sweet, sweet swing. Born in Worcester, Alabama, now living in Chicago with a lifetime batting average of .291. Had a couple of 300 years back in 64 and 65, .276 last year. Inside to the left-handed batter. Tony and I were in Chicago for a game 2 weeks ago. Williams hit the ball hard 4 times, but every time right at somebody. And 2 days later, he broke out of his slump. Won a ball game. Long drive, right field, but remember, the balls die here, so Oliva finally has to circle in and take it. And the American League's Denny McLean does a brilliant job and gets out of trouble. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 2 left at the end of 6. The National League 1, the American League nothing. Couple of changes here, Tony. Leo Cardenas of Cincinnati has gone into play shortstop as Kessinger was batted for. And Tom Seaver, the fine, well, he was Rookie of the Year last year, the New York Mets, is the pitcher. Seaver is really running into tough luck this year. He's won 7 but lost 6. 1-0 to score. Carew, who is grounded to the first baseman and grounded to shortstop as the batter. Well, against Tom Seaver. If you like to keep score, this is a real test. Carlin worked 1 inning, no hits, struck out 1, walked nobody. Carew, a line drive type hitter, facing the right-hander Seaver. Carew is left-handed. Fastball is upstairs, ball 1. The National League now has a fine defensive unit. Santo at third, Cardenas at short, Helms at second, McCovey at first, Lou, Mays, and Aaron in the outfield, Howler the catcher, and Seaver the pitcher, as there's a foul, and it sends everybody in the National League dugout scurrying, but the ball didn't make it to the dugout. Hit the fence and came away. It's 1-1. And after that, as the ball is returned to Seaver, Shag Crawford wants to take a look at it, does, tosses the ball back to Seaver, and he's ready to go. The Mets this year have a couple of pitchers, and as they say, who would have thunk that a couple of years back? And 3 men on the team altogether, including the starting catcher, Grody. Big change on a curve. Cardenas charging at shortstop and has him by 5 or 6 steps. 1 out in the 7th. And now you can start counting with us. That's 19 in a row that National League pitching has put down. Here is Carl Yastrzemski. Down out to Santo, and in the 4th inning, Tommy Helms made a brilliant play on him to throw him out. 1-0 the score. A long drive can tie it. Seaver working. Fastball, and Yastrzemski takes a big cut. Strike 1.
Seaver with that good hard slider, Jim, and of course, he's one of the young pitchers coming into baseball these days that has great control, can spot that fastball and slider. When he's behind the hitter, can throw that slider over the plate.
Right back and caught the inside corner, and Yastrzemski just steps out and stares away. It is strike 2. Yastrzemski got in the same situation back in the 1st inning before he fouled out. Had 2 quick strikes on him. Tony Oliva is on deck and will bat for the first time in this game. Frank Howard started in right and lined out and struck out. Seaver on 2-2 has Yastrzemski swinging on a change, and he fouls it at the plate. It's 0-2. Kyle has power to all fields and hits many home runs to left and left center in Boston. It will repeat again here in the Astrodome. The ball does not carry very far. Outside is Seaver, and it's 1-2 to Yastrzemski. Cal Irmer of Minnesota at third base, realizing that his big first baseman Harmon Killebrew will not be with him when he goes back Thursday. He was injured tonight, fouled back, and look out, man. Just below us. Ball rolled down the screen and not off the end, but rather fell through. So someone's got an all-star souvenir.
Jim, the word we got on Killebrew is that he'll be out from a week to 10 days, but usually it's a day-to-day thing with that pulled muscle in the back of your leg.
Another foul to the screen just below us, off the bat of Yastrzemski. 1 run, 3 hits, no errors for the National League. The run is unearned, scored by the leadoff man for the National League, Willie Mays, back in the 1st inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error for the American League. And 19 men have gone down in order since Fregosi led it off with a double on a 2-2 pitch. Drysdale started, then Marichal, then Carlin, and now Tom Seaver. Seaver ready, sidearm pitch, low, and it's 2-2. For the American League, with Dick Williams working in 2-inning shifts, Tion started. Stands to lose it on that unearned run as it stands now. Blue Moon Odom went for 2 innings. Denny McLean went for 2, and Sam McDowell will come in. Ground ball foul, and backing on it is Mayo Smith. And you can tell, Tony, his team has got a 9.5 game lead. He really grandstanded that foul ball.
I guess I'd put it on 2 with that kind of lead, Jim.
With Yastrzemski up there, Smith is not playing gutsy coach at first base. He is out of the batter's box and way back as Yastrzemski gets the ball, a piece of it, but strikes out as the foul tip is caught by Tom Howland. First strikeout for Tom Seaver and the 5th of the ball game for National Leaguers. Now Tony Oliva up for the first time. Oliva hitting .281, 13 home runs, 44 RBIs, And, of course, when he came up, he was Rookie of the Year and also won the batting title in the second time around. As a sophomore, and they talk about the sophomore jinx, he won the batting title again. And that's the first time that's ever happened in the major leagues. 2 consecutive batting titles in his first 2 years in the majors. 2 out in the 7th. National League leading by 1. Seaver fires the ball, and Oliva hits it off the fist. McCovey is over by the stands, and it is just on the roof of the National League All Star box.
And Jim, a favorite trick of Tony Oliva's on fouling that pitch off. His bat flew into the National League dugout, and you want to see some guys scatter. Felipe Alou, Tony Perez, the trainers, everyone else moving all over the place.
They're all waving towels, and of course, as Gene pointed out, it looked like Red Chambers was about to get it, Gene.
Red was on the deck. He was way down at the bottom, and I think he got hit by it, Jim, in the leg, but I'm not positive.
But Red is up and walking around and confident with a 10-game lead in the National League. He and Mayo can afford to bounce around a little bit. Oliva digging in again. Strike 1 to count. This 39th All-Star game moving along very quickly with little or no scoring. Long drive, left field. Back goes Patty Alou, still chasing it. Looking up, it is off the wall. Oliva with speed will go into second with a 2-out double. And after 20 men had gone to bat, Tony Oliva breaks the ski.
And talk about power to the opposite field, and you think of Henry Aaron, Roberto Clemente, Orlando Cepeda. But Oliva really hit that one on the line to left center, Jim.
And the scoreboard says, Dad blasted pop fly. As that ball was hit, as Leo DeRozier would say, a ton. Well, Joe Askew is up for the first time after Willie Horton batted the first 2 times in the second and fourth and did not get a base hit. And with 2 out, Askew of Cleveland, a catcher, who is hitting .273 with 23 RBIs, shares the job there with Duke Sims, steps in. Right-handed batter, open stance, looking at Seaver, and he's swinging on the first pitch. Fouls it, strike 1.
Jim, the National League defensively, in the outfield especially, is playing Askew as pretty much of a pull hitter. However, we've seen him play many times, and he hits down that right field line a good deal.
Aaron has given him a lot of room, as you've said, Tony. On the right field side, fastball outside from Seaver, 1-1. Seaver, the 4th pitcher. We've had changes in the infield at shortstop for the National League, behind the plate, and in left field. The American League has made many more changes. And this ball game is not over yet. Pitching is dominated. It is 1-0. Strike as Askew goes for an outside pitch. Aaron has given him a lot of room, as you've said, Tony. On the right field side, fastball outside from Seaver, 1-1. Seaver, the 4th pitcher. We've had changes in the infield at shortstop for the National League, behind the plate, and in left field. The American League has made many more changes. And this ball game is not over yet. Pitching is dominated. It is 1-0. Strike as Askew goes for an outside pitch. There have been 3 shutouts in All-Star games. There has never been a 1-0 game. Back in 1940, the National League won 4-0. In 46, the American League 12-0. In 60, the National League 6-0. 1-2 the count to Askew. Down at second is Tony Oliva with a double. Outside, and it's 2-2. 48,321. So this crowd here tonight does not break the all-time record for an indoor baseball game, 50,908. Set 2 years ago when the Dodgers were in town. 2-2 the count, 2 out. Askew trying to guard the plate now, and he can't do it as he strikes out on a high fastball from Seaver. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left in the middle of the 7th. The National League won. The American League, nothing.
National Leaguers with a 1-0 lead coming to the plate in the last half of the 7th inning. Tony Oliva in his last time at bat broke a long string for the American League. He got that double off the left center field wall.
Well, Tony, as we go now to the last of the 7th inning, and Tom Haller, who hit a ball to short right field as a pinch hitter for the pitcher Marichal back in the 5th inning. Sam McDowell has come on to be the pitcher, and Davy Johnson of Baltimore has gone to second base, and McDowell starts out Haller with a big, slow curve, but it's high, ball 1. So McLean worked 2 innings, gave up 1 hit, struck out 1, and walked 2. McDowell, a big left-hander from Cleveland, is ready again. This time comes back with a fastball and has it. Strike one. 1-1. And we are running out of people that can be used by the American League. Dick Williams is using everybody, and notable among those who has not appeared yet, Mickey Mantle. McDowell ready. Fastball is Haller, who swings and misses. 1-2. Yastrzemski in left, Mundy in center, Oliva in right, Powell at first, Johnson at second, Caballeros at short, Wirt at third, Askew behind the plate, and Sam McDowell with 1-2 count on Tom Haller in the seventh. Get off the fists and foul off our heads. Over our heads, not off them.
Jim mentioning that Dick Williams has used all his players is pretty much true. He just has a reserve catcher, Dwayne Josephson, has used up all of his infielders, and as you said, only Mickey Mantle remains.
Big curve that had Haller backing out. $383,733. The All-Star receipts tonight, and that is an All-Star game record. $383,733. Fastball punched foul by Haller. And of course, Tony, for the pension fund of the Major League Baseball players, and that is a wonderful number to see. 2-2, because it goes to the pension fund. Strikeout. Sam McDowell, who has struck out a few people in his life, strikes out Tom Haller. That is the sixth strikeout by American League pitching, and here is Willie Mays, who in the first inning, single on the 1-0 pitch. As Keon checked at first base with a throw, Killebrew dropped it. Mays went down to second. On a wild pitch, ball 4, Mays went to third. McCovey hit into a double play, and Woody scored. Now it's a back, strike one. And that is the only run of this ball game. Jag Crawford behind the plate from the National League looks over the foul ball and will not keep that ball in play. Larry Knapp of the American League is at first. Milstein of the National League at second. Bill Kinnaman of the American League at third. Jim Oldham of the American in left. Harry Wendelstedt of the National in right. One strike to Mays, one out in the last of the seventh. High for McDowell, 1-1.
And Sam's humming, Jim. He's throwing that fastball over the top and really coming on with it. Some activity once again for the American Leaguers in the bullpen. Mal Stottlemyre warming up.
McDowell worked on Saturday. Hit high in the air, very high. Askew comes back off with the mask. Tough chance and no chance. It's on the screen. McDowell lost 2-0 to the Angels last Saturday, and the 2 runs he gave up were unearned. The run in this ball game is unearned. 1-2 to Willie Mays.
And now some action also for the National Leaguers in the bullpen, Jim. Jerry Kuzmin, the Mets' fine young left-hander, starting to throw.
We're in the last of the seventh. The National League with that 1 run. McDowell ready with the 1-2 pitch, and fastball is made, and he's got him swinging. McDowell has struck out 2 in a row. And as far as Sam is concerned, I'm sure that you know he is quite a strikeout artist. He had 325 strikeouts back in 1965 when he led the league. But he's also led the American League in walks 2 of the last 3 years. And in wild pitches 2 of the last 4. So you stay a little loose. Here is Matty Alou up for the first time, the league's leading hitter, Major League's leading hitter, as he fouls it at the plate, with a fine average of 344. His brother on the squad, Felipe, is hitting 304. Alou bats left-handed, and that curveball had him backing out, leaning away, and it broke right over the plate. Sam McDowell is a huge man, about 6'4". Matty Alou is a little man, chokes up on the bat, bats left-handed, Sam throws left-handed, and that curveball had Matty bailing out, but it broke over the plate. It's 2 strikes. Fastball this time, punch down to Campaneris, backhand stop at shortstop, long throw, loose fast, take one. And what a try by Bert Campaneris. He ranged far to his right, backhand of the ball. The ball just got by Don Wirt, the third baseman for the American Leaguers, and just missed, nipping Matty Alou at first base. And of course, Alou can fly, and running from the left side of that plate. Matty is not a long ball hitter, but you have just heard one reason why he is leading the league. He can beat out those hits to the infield. Well, here's Woody McCovey, who's had What a day. Jim Matty's hit into a double play on which the only run scored, and then has struck out twice. And Willie left-hander and Sam McDowell, from a straight-up position, flipped the ball over to first base. So Lou can run at first base. Now McDowell peers in to McCovey and throws. Ground ball, foul. Aaron takes it on one hop and Ron Bexel.
Jim, for the National Leaguers, Ron Reed of the Braves, the tall right-hander, has joined Jerry Kuzma of the Mets in starting to warm up.
One strike pitch now, 1-0 to score in the National League. Last of the seventh. McDowell is ready. Big curveball, and he has it over the plate. There's 2 strikes to McCovey, who looks back at Shaq Crawford in disbelief. Now, it's tough, as we said, Tony. Left-hander against a left-hander, Sam McDowell. He is wicked.
He's got the great arm, the good stuff, and many people have accused Sam in the past of experimenting too much, trying to throw too many pitches from too many different angles.
The 0-2 pitch is a fastball, and he's called out looking. Third time, McCovey has struck out. No runs, and the third strikeout, by the way, for McCovey. 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left. At the end of 7, the National League won. The American League, nothing. Jim Simpson with Tony Kubek and Gene Elston at the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. We go to the 8th of this 1-0 ball game, and Boone Powell is up for the second time. He struck out, now facing the right-hander Tom Seaver. Inside pitch, changes speed, and I don't believe those in the Astrodome have yet noticed that on deck is Mickey Mantle, and will bat for Denny McLean. Ground ball, Helms over, has it on a fine play, and flips to McCovey for the first out.
County continues to have himself a fine day, both defensively and offensively at second base.
And now Mickey Mantle. A .238 hitter in All-Star play. This is Mickey's 16th. He and Woody Mays are the honorary captains, and the honorary captain Mays, oops, they have called it back, and for what reason, Tony? We said Powell grounded out. Powell went back, Mantle came up, now Powell is out again.
Jim, I'm not sure. The only thing I can guess is on the ground ball to the second baseman, Tommy Hill, and the ball may have gone off the foot or hit him somewhat. That is Boone Powell as he hit the ball to the second baseman.
Well, it's called ball 1. And now he swings, and it's strike 1.
Yeah,
we'll certainly have to check on that.
I think time had been called probably by a loose ball in the bullpen would be my guess, since there was not a strike called. Probably a base umpire.
And we thank you, Gene Elston. Well, Powell is up for a second shot. Ground ball this time. Foul. Smith leaps out of the way in the coaching box. And we'll say again about Mayo, he's not even in the coaching box. He's backed up about 5 to 7 yards. So, instead of 1 out in the 8th, there is none out. Powell is the batter with a count of 1 and 2, and Mantle remains on deck. Kuzman and Ron Reed turn around to look as Powell strikes out. Third strikeout for Tom Seaver. And now, Mickey Mantle. As he swings at the first pitch, strike 1. Now we started to say before that little rhubarb that brought Powell back to the batter's box. .238 in All-Star play. This is his 16th. He is, of course, a switch hitter. Inside with the fastball receiver. And, of course, with 529 home runs, Mickey is 4th among the all-time Major League home run hitters. Lives in Dallas, Texas. Made the short trip to play in this, his 16th All-Star game. It's 1-1 to him. Seaver of the Mets facing the Mantle of the Yankees. Changed on him there, Tony, in speed, and he swung and missed. 1 and 2.
Yes, he did, Jim. He got that, took a little bit off that slider inside him. It looked like it may have been off the strike zone just a little. Mickey's up there over to swing.
3 times the most valuable player in the American League. Fastball, and Mantle, as he did a year ago, strikes out. And is only a 10, but still gets a hand as he walks off.
Mantle hit the first home run ever in the Astrodome in 1965 when the Yankees came in for an exhibition series.
That is 4 strikeouts for Tom Seaver and 8 for the National League staff. And Don Wirt of the Detroit Tigers is up for the first time. To face Seaver, Wirt, a right-handed pitcher, takes strike 1 on the outside corner. Right-handed batter, rather. Wirt does have some power. He is not too tall. About 5'9". This one is sliced down the right field line. Over comes Aaron. It goes by. Wirt has some speed. On his way around second. And will hold at second. As Helms, the cutoff man, goes out and fires the ball in. To Santo at third. Santo calls for time. And again, as back in the 7th inning, after 2 are out, there is a double. This time by Don Wirt.
Jim, right now, both bullpens very active. For the American League, Gary Bell of the Red Sox, the right-hander, and Tommy John of the White Sox, a left-hander. Houston of the Mets, the left-hander, continues to throw, along with the Atlanta Braves, Ron Reed.
Rick Mundy, who bounced back to the pitcher in the 6th inning, is up for the 2nd time. And, of course, Rick is a fine hitter, and with a man on second base, it only takes a single to tie this game up. It's 1-0 the National League. Time running out on the American League. We are in the 8th inning. Mundy, one of the league's leading hitters, hitting at .298. Strike 1. Call strike from Tom Seaver. Mundy is 22 years old, 7 weeks younger than another 22-year-older starter, Rod Carew. Youngest on the American League staff. Seaver stares back at the runner, pitches to Mundy, strike 2 as he swings. Ward at second with a tying run for the American League, which has lost its last 5 in a row, 16 of its last 21. Dwayne Josephson, the catcher for Chicago, is the only one who's not a pitcher left on the American League bench. Everybody else is playing or has played. 2 strikes to Mundy, and he strikes out. Seaver strikes out his 5th, and he needed it. He struck out the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. There's only an inning left for the American League. In the middle of the 8th, the National League 1, the American League nothing. For the American League, frustrating thus far. It's the first National League game ever in Houston. What about for you? Just your observations on the game itself and the crowd here at the Astrodome.
Although we've been seeing some tremendous pitching all year long, Jim, I am amazed at the phenomenal pitching by both clubs tonight. Of course, I did not have the opportunity to see the pitching that the American League has thrown at the National tonight, but all the way down the line, they've been very outstanding.
Hank Aaron to lead it off in the last of the 8th inning for the National League, to be followed by Ron Santo and Tommy Helms. Mays, McCovey, Aaron Santo, and Helms had gone all the way for the National League. Nell Stottlemyre, the new pitcher, fastball inside.
Stottlemyre, of course, got the good sinker, good sidearm curve, and the good hard slider. And we're wondering, Gene, we're talking about a pitching park or hitting park. Stottlemyre's a low ball pitcher, but he's got that swift AstroTurf to contend with.
Low again, 2-0, Gene. McDowell worked 1 inning, gave up 1 hit, but struck out the side.
AstroTurf has been no problem tonight. I believe they're making some real good plays on both sides of the infield.
Strike. Aaron took a cut at that pitch. 2-1. Something is loose on the field. A ball out of the bullpen of the American League, and Yastrzemski had to go retrieve that one. As Tommy John is warming up, along with Gary Bell. Foul. Look out, fellas, in the American League dugout. I don't think it hit anybody. There's not too many of them left down there. It's 2-2 now to Aaron. Aaron walked in the 1st, struck out in the 4th, singled, stole 2nd in the 6th, and got as far as 3rd base when Helms hit into a forced play, but there he stayed. Strike. And Aaron is called out on strikes.
And Jim, you had mentioned, I think we're having a change. Dick Williams has come out of the American League dugout, and he's called for the left-hander, Tommy John, to come in and replace Mel Stottlemyre.
Stottlemyre is standing there, nearly astounded. Of course, Mel worked recently, very recently. Stottlemyre worked Sunday, 9 innings, beat Baltimore 3-1, and I think Mel thought he's going to be around a little bit longer, but Dick Williams figured that he shouldn't work that much, and so has quickly gone to Tommy John, who worked 5 innings on Sunday.
Jim, another change in the catching department. Joe Askew has left the ballgame along with Stottlemyre, and Dwayne Josephson, the fine young White Sox catcher, has come on to catch Tommy John.
Well, that means nobody's left on the bench except pitchers. Tommy John is a left-hander from the Chicago White Sox, and John, of course, this year couldn't have a better record. He's won 7 and lost none. Run average 1.73. And Tommy, youngster out of Terre Haute, Indiana, still living there. This is his first All-Star game. Left-handed pitcher, but a switch hitter.
Jim, although, as you have mentioned, Dick Williams has used everybody that's got up at this point, the National League and manager Red Cheney has a few in reserve. He's got Johnny Bench, a fine catcher, Julio Javier, the second baseman, and Tony Perez of the Cincinnati Ball Club. Also as a pinch hitter, Felipe Alou, should he need him.
Sano is going all the way. He's walked twice and grounded out. Curveball is what Tommy starts out with, and it's outside, ball 1.
John, basically a breaking ball pitcher, Jim. We've seen him before. He throws a lot of curves and sliders, not overpowering, but also has a good sinker when he needs the double play.
Fastball this time, in the alley and left field, over quickly, and Yastrzemski makes a high leap to keep it from bounding over his head. But Rick Mundy was there to back him up. Kyle lost his hat, and Mundy now retrieves that for him, but it's a base hit. 5 hits, no errors for the National League, no runs, 3 hits, 1 error for the American League. We are running out of time. We are in the last of the 8th inning. That's the 5th hit. Philippe Alou of Atlanta is on deck as Tommy Helms, who has hit into a force play, walked and doubled, and has been sparkling afield as the batter. With Santo at first and 1 out in the 8th. The National League out in front by that 1 unearned run, the leadoff batter in the bottom of the first inning, Willie Mays. Gone ready again, ground ball. Chance for Davy Johnson, tags his man, and then throws on to first and has him for double play. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and none left on the fine play by Davy Johnson. And at the end of 8th, the National League won, the American League nothing.
Tony Kubek, Jim Simpson, and Gene Elson, the voice of the Astros, here at the Astrodome, where 48,321 people are witnessing this fine All-Star game. We've got some changes here as the National League is going into the top of the 9th inning with a 1-run lead. The American League coming to bat. Felipe Alou has gone to left field. Ron Reed has come in to pitch. Johnny Bench has come in to catch. For the American League, it's no runs on 3 hits and 1 error. In the National League, 1 run, 5 hits, and no errors. And Gene Elston, we're seeing a pretty good ball game at your Astrodome.
Certainly, yeah. One thing I'd like to point out here is the fact that Pete Rose, of course, is not playing, but I've been watching him down in the National League dugout. He's up on his feet most of the time, especially when the National League is in the field. And this goes along with Charlie Hustle, as they call him. He didn't want to miss playing at all, and as long as he could not play, he is putting everything he has, and I think especially supporting his roommate, Tommy Helms, quite a bit.
Ron Reed on the mound now with Johnny Bench of Cincinnati, Reed from Atlanta, the catcher. And this is the 9th inning. The score is 1-0. The National League, and this, of course, is the last chance for the American League. Campaneris is up for the first time. The Oakland Athletics shortstop in this game has not taken too long. Reed, a giant of a man, delivers. Santo backs on a ground ball at third and throws out Campaneris, who's quick, and there's 1 out of the 9th. This game is only about 2 hours and 7 minutes old right now. So Drysdale, who gave up 1 hit, working 3 innings, stands to be the winner. Marichal worked a couple of innings, gave up no hits, struck out 3. Carlton worked 1, no hits, struck out 1. Seaver worked 2, gave up 2 hits and struck out 4. Now it looks as though Tony Perez is it.
Yes, it is, Jim. He's come on to play for Ron Santo.
Reed delivers now to Davy Johnson, who is up for the first time. and both managers are emptying their benches. But the American League is 2 outs away from losing its 6th game in a row. Johnson waits, fouls it off to the right. It is strike 2. Since 1949, we'll repeat for you, the American League at that time led 12-4, but the National League has won 16 and lost 5 since then. Their last 5 in a row. McCovey now at first, Javier at second, Cardenas at short, Perez at third, and all of the changes going on Felipe Lou in left. Foul off to the right by Johnson. Willie Mays in his 19th All-Star game has gone all the way, as has Hank Aaron in right. Grody started behind the plate. Haller came on in relief of him, and now Johnny Bench. The young 20-year-old rookie. 2 strikes to Davy Johnson, guarding the plate. Outside and low with the pitch is Ron Reed, and it's 1-2.
Jim, a fellow down in that National League bullpen has just gotten up with Jerry Koosman, the left-hander of the Mets. Number 45, Bob Gibson.
National League, not quite in the driver's seat, but very nearly. Reed delivers an off-speed pitch, and Johnson, guarding the plate, punches it slowly on the ground, foul into the National League dugout. 1 run, 5 hits, no errors for the National League. No runs, 3 hits, 1 error for the American. 48,321 looking on as Ron Reed looks in at Davy Johnson and his catcher, Johnny Bench. The pitch, fouled again, upstairs.
Jim, you'll notice that Ron Reed is very reminiscent of Jim Bunning in his follow-through. He is not as short as Bunning. Of course, Bunning is 6'3". Reed comes in about 6'6". But he falls off that first baseline just about every time.
Reed ready. Played with the Detroit Pistons, the NBA basketball league for 2 years. Sidearm pitch now, but it's low and inside, 2-2. And Reed came around underneath pretty good there, Pete.
He's not fast. He has a good fastball, but he's not overpowering. But his big weapons in the games we've watched him has been his change of speeds. Very, very nice change of speeds.
Reed ready again. This time he's over the head and catches Johnson looking to strike out. That is strikeout number 9 for the National League staff. There have been 8 hits. Brett Shanies is coming out and is going to get Koosman, I believe, in the pitch to Yastrzemski. He's explaining to Ron Reed what he's doing to allow the young rookie Koosman to get in. And Reed has had his chance.
Tony Kubek, Jim Simpson, and Gene Elson from the Astrodome. Well, the American Leaguers have just one more chance, but it's a pretty good one. Kyle Yastrzemski. And speaking about hits and hitting, if there are no more hits, it will be a record low for 2 clubs in an All-Star game of 8. The previous record is 9 in the 1961 ball game.
And Jerry Koosman, the left-hander, youngster from the New York Mets, has won 11, lost 4, fine earned average of 1.95. And if you're thinking, as nearly everybody is here, that Carl Yastrzemski can still tie the game up with 1 swat, be advised of the 44 home runs that Carl hit last year, only 4 were off left-handers, and Jerry Koosman is a left-hander. Here's his first pitch, and it's outside to Yastrzemski, ball 1. 1-0 the score with Oliva on deck, but for the moment, the pressure is on Yastrzemski and Jerry Koosman. Koosman with Jacksonville last year. Yastrzemski, the most valuable player in the American League last year. Blown outside, 2-0.
And Jim, as is always the case, the low-scoring ball game in the late innings. The third and first baseman, Perez and Willie McCovey, guarding the line to prevent against that extra base hit.
McCovey is just a yard from the first baseline. Perez a couple of yards off as Yastrzemski went for it, swung and missed, strike 1, off the third baseline. Well, a year ago, we went to 15 innings in a 2-1 ball game, low scoring, and here we are in a 1-0 ball game with a near record for hits. Yastrzemski swings and misses again, 2-2. And the American League and Carl Yastrzemski are now just a strike away from having dropped their 6th in a row. It would give the National League an edge of 21-17. And the only run scored, believe me, the National League has not overtaken the American League, unearned. Yastrzemski strikes out. Koosman does it. scoreboard, which had no chance to go amok because of a home run, does so now as the game is over. We'll be back in a moment, but the final score, the National League 1, the American League, nothing. Well, the story again is pitching Don Drysdale, who worked 3 innings, the only man in the ball game to do so. Gave up just 1 hit, a leadoff double to Jim Fregosi, and there he stayed as Drysdale, appearing in this All-Star game, won his second All-Star game against just 1 loss, and this has been quite a year for Don, who has also set the scoreless record of 58 2/3 consecutive innings of scoreless ball in the first half of this baseball season. And on the other side of the coin, for Luis Tiant, making his first start ever, his first appearance ever in an All-Star ball game, he worked 2 innings, but was responsible for the 1 run, and even though it was unearned, it means that Tiant goes down as the loser. As Mays, who got a leadoff single, came on a run to score after an error and a wild pitch, he scored on a double play. We'll continue to sum up this 39th annual All-Star game. Pee Wee Reese is talking to him right now and asking Willie how long he'll stay down along the first base line. And Willie, as he prepares to head for the dugout, is saying that he's going to go Gene Elston and Tony Kubek. I'm sure you know what he's saying, just as long as he possibly can. And he went all the way tonight, Tony, and I'm sure that Willie Mays, the furthest thing from his mind is to retire. Let's go down to hear what they're saying.
You, pal, you'll never embarrass yourself. Thanks a lot for dropping by. Thank you very much for having me, Pee Wee.
Okay, Willie. Now then, back up to Kurt Gowdy and Sandy Koufax in the booth. And let's come right back up here. Tony Kubek, in a word, your opinions and thoughts about this 39th All-Star game won by the National League, 1-0.
Jim, you know, when you think of superstars, we said this last year in that ball game when the National League eked out a 3-2 victory. You look for perfection, you look for home runs, and we got almost perfection tonight. Not quite, just the 1 error that cost the American League that run, the error on Harmon Killebrew. A sad note, however, later on in the ball game when Harmon was injured and may be out for a couple of weeks. But again, statistics don't always tell what a superstar is, not just home runs, strikeouts. They play the game to perfection.
Gene Elston, you've been our host here, and we appreciate it so much. A word from you on this game.
Jim, I think this game sort of summed up so far the 1968 baseball season, mostly all pitching. The total number of strikeouts tonight, 20, 11 strikeouts by the National League. Not a base on balls issued, incidentally, by the National League tonight. And one of the outstanding things, maybe things to come in the National League, and probably all of baseball, is the fact that Red Schoendienst finished up with Steve Carlton, Tom Seaver, Ron Reed, and Jerry Kuzman. There's some pretty good-looking young pitchers right there.
It sure is. This crowd of more than 48,000 leaving the Astrodome. We're going to leave it for a moment. We'll be back after this. The National League, 1 run, 5 hits, no errors. The American League, no runs, 3 hits, 1 error. Drysdale the winner, Tiant the loser. The National League has now won 6 in a row. They're 21-17. The run scored as Mays singled in the first. Went to second on the error by Killebrew at first on a throw-over from Tiant. Went to third on a wild pitch to Flood, and scored as McCovey hit into a double play. That's the ball game, and that's how the run scored.
Gene, you know, we talked before the ball game and all during the ball game about this AstroTurf, and that it might just cause some problems to these infielders and outfielders. However, it did not.
Strictly flawless tonight, Tony. I think there were some great plays, and I think that both infields definitely were geared for it. I think, were playing possibly a little bit deep. There were some pretty good shots through the infield. Great plays by Bert Campaneris on one, and Tommy Helms made 2 real fine stops. We had just 1 ball that came down on a high trajectory in center field. It took the big bounce that almost got away from Yastrzemski. But I think, and everybody around here thinks, that AstroTurf is the coming thing.
Thank you, Gene and Tony. Our engineer has been O.B. Johnson of KPRZ Houston, Texas. Our producer from NBC New York, Len Dillon. This broadcast has been authorized under broadcast rights granted by the Commissioner of Baseball, solely for the entertainment of our listening audience, and any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Commissioner of Baseball is prohibited. That wraps up the 1968 All-Star Baseball game. Be with us again in October for the first game of the 1968 World Series, when your host, as tonight, again will be Chrysler Corporation, makers of Plymouth, Dodge, Chrysler, Imperial, and Dodge trucks. Gillette, Techmatic Razor, ask your face about it. B.F. Goodrich, the people who launched the radial age. and by Phillips 66, where it's performance that counts. Now this is Jim Simpson with Tony Kubek and Gene Elston, the voice of the Houston Astros, saying goodbye from the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. The final score once again in the 39th All Star Game, the National League 1, the American League nothing.